All right, good afternoon, everybody. Wherever in the world that you are tuning in, welcome. We just want to do a quick audio and visual check here. If you would, just type a Y in the question box there, or the text box. Let's make sure that you can hear my voice and you can see the screen there. All right, looks good. Coming through, looks good. Okay. All right, fantastic. So I'm just going to give another couple minutes here. Still got people logging in, and we'll get started in about 2 minutes. All right, again, welcome everyone to this presentation hosted by FFR Trading. My name is John Madison. I'm the Senior Strategist here at FFR Trading, and I'll be your host for this special presentation with Joe Duffy. Got a great presentation for you today, one of the kind of neglected areas of trading that is probably one of the most important, and that's how your brain works while you're trading. Joe Duffy has been doing research and working with this for many, many years now, as you'll see. So I got a great presentation for you here. All right, you should see the risk disclosure. Okay, let's all agree up front here, right? Trading and investing is risky business, right? Especially if you don't know what you're doing. What we suggest is you put the trading in the hands of a proven winner like Joe Duffy. Also, guys, we're in a highly regulated industry, so everything that I say and later what Joe says, has to be accurate. All right, before I bring Joe on, I want to cover a few key pieces of information with you. First, we'll take a look at who we are here at FFR Trading and what our role is. Next, I'll give you some background information on Joe Duffy. We'll look at the performance statistics of his target zone options program, as well as his key point options program. We'll look at the trade academics of each program, how they work, and everything that comes with these services. All right, so who are we at FFR Trading? What is our role here? Well, at FFR Trading, we've been evaluating traders and their strategies for 15 years now. We are a due diligence firm, so we do that institutional level research on the traders and their strategies for you. Because you all know, and you've done it, right? You've been on the internet looking for a strategy or a trader to follow that you can have success with. But there's so many thousands of traders out there making all sorts of claims about profitability, and how do you know what's real, all right, and what is not? So that's where FFR Trading comes in. We put the traders and their strategies through an 8-step certification process, right? Some of these steps include an interview process where we get the traders' rules for their strategy. We get a back test of the strategy. We get brokerage statements from the traders, proving that they are successful traders. Right, so we do all that heavy lifting for you that you're not able to do. You're not able to, go on the internet and find a trader and get their brokerage statements. They're just not going to give them out to anybody, right? But we're able to do that. We've got traders that are trading all the different strategies in all the different markets, from futures and Forex, options on stocks and ETFs, commodities, and so on. All right, so let's take a look. Who is Joe Duffy, and why should you pay attention to Joe Duffy? Well, Joe is a Canadian. We won't hold that against him, but he has been trading for over 30 years now. He started his career competing in the United States Trading Championships, and he ranked in the top 10 3 times with real money returns of 121%, 243%, and 432%. Previously a proprietary trader for one of the largest international banks, and previously ranked number one analyst by the Greenwich survey. Now, guys, if you Google that Greenwich survey, you'll see that it is a very prestigious award that is given on the institutional side. Joe is adept at trading all different markets, not just options on stocks and ETFs, but futures and Forex as well. Formerly registered as a commodity trading advisor and an exempt hedge fund manager. Joe is now semi-retired, we'll call it, still writes for many different financial publications and works on his trading and his systems and so on. It's a pretty impressive background, guys. I think you'll agree. That's the kind of person you want to align yourself with and partner with. All right, I want to take you through a couple of Joe's strategies here. First, his target zone options, which is a spread trading system, and his key point trader, which is straight puts and calls, options on puts and calls on stocks and ETFs. All right, first up, our target zone option program. Joe has a watch list of the top 100 most liquid stocks and ETFs that he's monitoring. The service trades on an average about 4 to 6 times per month. Joe does recommend you have a minimum account size of $10,000, and he's allocating roughly 10% per trade alert on the overall account size. All right, he is very adept, as the market changes, he's going to be trading spreads predominantly. So it could be a credit spread or debit spread or diagonal spread, or it could be straight put or call, just depending what's going on in the markets and what the market calls for. He has a program where he is cutting losses and maximizing gains. Right, theoretically can carry up to 4 positions at one time. All right, so let's get into the performance summary of the target zone options program. All right, this is data that goes back since inception, January of 2017 through October of 2021 here. And this is a $10,000 account size, allocating $1,000 per trade, non-compounded. Right, and in that period, right, that $10,000 becomes $98,188. A return on capital here of 982%. An annual average, right, 204%. So he's averaging about 200% per year over that period. If you're looking at the monthly average here, right, on a $10,000 account size, he's averaging about $1,700 a month in profit. Right, now just think about what that would do for you in your current state. Would that help? Right, especially if you are, maybe you're working, maybe you are, owning a business and you can't be there physically to trade, allowing someone like Joe Duffy to trade for you. Would that help? Right, he wins about 76% of the trades over that period. But here's the key. His average winner is $695. The average loser just $420. So you're getting the best of both worlds, right? You're getting a high win percentage, and the winners are on average bigger than the losses. All right, so that's what gives you this smooth equity curve. All right, there are going to be drawdowns, right? There are, with any trader in any system, you're going to go through drawdowns, right? The key is, in a good trader and system, do they recover and go on to new equity highs? And you see over the years, we have drawdown back here. Let's see, it says let's see. You see there's a drawdown here, goes on to new equity highs, right? You got a little drawdown here, new equity highs. All right, we had a drawdown last year, fourth quarter, right? And this year, Joe has only closed one losing trade in 2021. right? That's a sign of a great trader, if you will. All right, let's take a look at the key point trader options puts and call trading system. So this is a more aggressive system. It's just trading straight puts and calls, whereas the previous system we looked at is trading spreads, and it's a more conservative program because Joe can work trades into profit over time. This one, he's either going to be right or wrong. Okay, so he's trading straight puts and calls, and this one trades an average of 3 to 4 times per month. Again, minimum account size he recommends of $10,000. Theoretically can have 2 or 3 open positions at any given time. And he has a way of managing, if you've seen any of Joe's other webinars, how he manages his trade. He has multiple exit strategies, again, depending on the length of time in a trade and how far offside it ever was. So in other words, if it had gone against him at some point, he's going to adjust his targets. But his objectives are based on a 1.5 to 3 times the initial risk for profit, okay? So here's the numbers for key point. Again, $10,000 account, allocating $750 per trade. This data is from January of 2017 through November of 2021. And that 10,000 non-compounded turns into 108,000. Return on capital of 1,087%. The annual average of 225%. And a monthly average, a lot of people like to look at that number just to see, what could I expect on average per month? You're looking at $1,800 a month on a $10,000 account. That's non-compounded. Again, what would that do for your trading? Even if you trade on your own, having someone to help diversify your portfolio using a completely different strategy that you use, right? That can help, buffer some of your own drawdowns and so on. All right, this one hits 68% winner, so still a high win rate. But look at your average winner here, $618. Your average loser just $281. All right, those are, if you've been trading for any length of time, those are fantastic numbers. Fantastic numbers. Here's the equity curve for key point. Again, you're going to have drawdowns. Any good trader and system will have drawdowns. Right, we had a kind of flat period here, goes on to new equity highs, and then look at the 2021 here. All right, so we're expecting great things in 2022. Joe's expecting fireworks here heading into the end of the year. All right, guys, so just as I get ready to shift over and hand over to Joe, just think about what these kind of numbers, could do for you, whether you're a struggling trader or if you are a successful trader, it doesn't matter. It always makes sense to add some diversification to your portfolio, whether that be through other traders and strategies or other markets. So maybe you trade commodities, but you're looking for somebody that maybe can handle the options and stocks part of the portfolio for you. So if you guys are ready, and if Joe, if you are ready, I'm gonna hand over to you. I'll go ahead and make you presenter. So you're going to have a little pop-up on your side. Yeah, Peter asks, while Joe's getting set up, we are recording this session, so everybody that's here and everybody that signed up for this webinar that could make it will get a copy of the recording. All right, so Joe, it looks like you are ready, so I'm going to hand over to you.
All set. Thanks, John. Can you hear me okay?
Sounds like you're coming through fine.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Okay, guys, thanks for coming. We're going to talk about neuroscience of trading today. Obviously, I'm not a neuroscientist, but the really cool thing is you don't need to be. While the neuroscientists are doing all the really, really hard stuff, what we're learning is really cool and quite simple, actually. The way the brain works is extremely complicated. There are, if you can believe it, what's the number I'm looking for now? I think it's 3 billion, I think, or something, or 300 billion chemical reactions in your brain every second. Some crazy absolutely crazy number, but the things that we need to do to work with our brain, and particularly for trading, are not that bad. They're pretty easy to do. So we'll talk about what those are, and you'll have a chance to say, hey, okay, here's my issue or whatever, and we'll try to go through that. Okay, so neuroscience obviously has a really important role in successful trading. You've all heard the old stuff. People say, well, discipline is important or psychology is important. Well, that's great, but it's just like saying, San Diego's south of LA. Yeah, it is, but how do you get there if you don't have a car, or a means of transportation? It's not enough to say I've got to be disciplined. It's not enough to say, psychology is important. Because what happens, and you know it if you've ever done it, and you've done it in other areas of your life, the brain is wired to do the same things over and over again. It's like when you get a new phone, you put the programs in the first week, and then the rest of the time you have the phone, it just plays them back. Really, that's what your brain is like, except the first 7 years of your life, it gets programmed. The rest of your life, it plays those programs back. Fortunately, we can change that, and we're going to go through how that is done today. It's really a very simple three-step process. You may have heard the buzzword now called conscious awareness. There's lots of books, lots of internet information on it. Conscious awareness, I would summarize as that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. So you have to be consciously aware of what you're doing. And 90 to 95% of what we do is in our subconscious. All our habits, our beliefs, our reactions, all come from our subconscious mind. Okay, 90 to 95% of what we do every day comes from the programs that are already in our mind, and we just play them back subconsciously. Okay, so that's how our brain is hardwired. That's how it was evolved, and it evolved to make us safe, right? So that's the number one function of your brain, is to keep you safe. And if in your brain's evolution, change is obviously unknown and therefore unsafe. So that is why we have such a hard time accepting change. Many people, many of us, maybe you're one of them, will right out say, hey, I don't like change. Well, change is the currency of growth. So if you want to grow, you have to be willing to change. Okay, so we can change our brain for some very simple ways, or we can change it by waiting till pain is so overwhelming that we are forced to change. Okay. So as I said, 90-95% of thoughts, reactions, habits are in the subconscious mind. It's important to know that. Okay, that's what the scientists can now tell us. We're no longer in pop psychology. Now we're in science. Okay, here's an example of a belief that people have, and I learned this from someone else. It's not. I was at a webinar, and they were talking about multitasking, and the instructor went, how many people believe in multitasking? Tons of hands went up, and neuroscience will tell you that multitasking is a myth. And I'm not going to go through all of that right now, but you can go through the science of telling people that it's a myth, and most people will still say, well, no, I know it works because I do it all the time. So they won't believe, or they won't accept the science because their belief system doesn't want to change, no matter what evidence is presented. Okay, and an example of how strong our subconscious is, or how strong our beliefs are, we've probably, in fact, all of us have witnessed someone else doing something and we go, oh boy, that can only turn out one way, especially if we have kids. They're doing something, you're going, well, no, you're on the wrong path here. But, or it can be another adult. But they are not going to change. Their belief system is this, and that's what they're going to do. And then, of course, like Wile E. Coyote, they go over the cliff, and we have to have a restart. okay? Now, as much as we can see it in other people can see it in us. And that's the key. We have to become almost the other person. We have to get our conscious mind to start observing what we're doing during the day, what our subconscious mind is doing. So that's the whole concept of conscious awareness. And once you understand the concept of conscious awareness, and once you understand the simple sentence that we are not our thoughts, we are the observer of our thoughts, you've taken 50% of the way to making changes in the problems that you have in trading, but also in many of the other issues that you have in your life. Okay, so let's see here. What's next? Conscious awareness. Oh, here's my favorite analogy again. Didn't make this up, learned it from someone else. Nursery school. Okay, you get 20 kids all doing their different things, and that is very analogous to the brain because the brain has different parts. And many people are surprised to find out that all those parts don't work together. Your brain is not one homogeneous unit. They all have different functions, and sometimes those functions are at cross purposes, okay? Now, remembering that 95% of our thoughts are useless and self-sabotaging again, and that we're not our thoughts, we're the observer of our thoughts, okay? Now, in that nursery school, you may have a kid who's standing on his chair and screaming and crying, or her chair, or whatever, that they want ice cream before nap time. Okay? And we've all been there, okay? We've done it to ourselves. And while we can comfort that child or understand that child or sympathize with that child, we cannot, as the nursery school teacher or as our inner parent, if we're looking at our own brain, we cannot let that one child run the classroom. Okay? But that's often what we do. That is very often what we do, not only in trading, but in life. That's my favorite analogy. And again, I didn't make it up, but it's a very powerful one to understand that that's what your brain is. It's a lot of different parts, not all homogeneous. And sometimes one of them can be trying to control the classroom. And as the inner parent or the teacher, you have to be consciously aware of it, and you can't let that happen. Okay, so we're going to talk about ways to observe that, interrupt it, and then how to change it. So I've talked about the brain and the FFR analogy where it's like you program your brain when you're young and then it just plays the programs back. It values certainty and familiarity over results. And that's why it always resists change. And the next step, once we're able to stand outside ourselves and understand remember, we are the observer of our thoughts, okay? We are not our thoughts. And some of us I know can get, maybe not as much in trading, but in regular life, you can start telling yourself stories and they seem very real, but it turns out a lot of them aren't, okay? And a lot of that is just your brain trying to keep you safe or trying to make a story so that you won't change because it views change as something it may not know how to deal with. And no matter how bad the results you're getting now, it feels that it can deal with these results, so it doesn't want to change. That's crazy, but that is actually the science now, not the pop psychology, but the science of how your brain works. Okay, so what's our steps here? As again, I'm going to repeat this many times today because repetition is one of the ways that we learn. You are not you're not your thoughts, you're the observer of our thoughts. Okay, so that's, to me, that step, not only in my trading, but in my life, was 50% of the way to making change. So that first step that I can summarize in one sentence that it takes me 7 or 8 seconds to say is 50% of the way to making significant, important, huge strides in your trading and in your life, okay? So just recognizing and being the observer of your actions and your thoughts. Okay, that's step one. So if we've got a thought in our trading, like for instance, if you're hurried, that you're afraid you're going to miss a trade, your fear of missing out on that trade, You can't wait to click that mouse, click on, oh, I'm going to miss this, just pay the offer, blah, blah, blah. Once you observe those, you probably know, you've been through that probably. How many times do those kind of trades work out? Not very often, not very often. The ones where you sit, you wait for the market to come to you, you follow your plan, you know where you want to get in, that's where you get in. Those are the trades that work, okay? So when you're doing something that you know is unproductive, but that your habit brain wants to do, and you observe it, okay, you immediately stop and you label that thought as harmful and unproductive to your success goal. It's important to label the thought. Okay? You have to label the thought as intrusive or harmful or unproductive, but label it. Okay, I'm not going to scramble to get this mouse. Just pay the offer. Blah blah blah. Get me 10 because I normally trade 5, but I really want in this one. Those trades, as you know, you've done it. We've all done it. They don't work out. So when you sit, and I'm using that as an example, you may have another. You may have difficulty pulling the trigger. So it doesn't matter what you do, what your problem is. The process is pretty much the same. Okay. So once we've identified the problem, we've observed it, we've labeled it, okay, as unproductive, harmful, intrusive thought, whatever, not good for our success goal. Then we know the thoughts that are going to be productive for our success goal, so we introduce those. So if we're having trouble pulling the trigger, we go, okay, here's the steps I need to pull the trigger. Are they there? Yep. Okay, pull the trigger. So one of the things that your brain will respond to is something as simple as a countdown. So we're having trouble pulling the trigger. I recognize that I'm having trouble. I say harmful, unproductive, not good for my success goal. Okay. Then I see, what should I do? Okay. Oh, it's set up here. I need to buy at the low of the next bar, or if it takes out the next bar's high or whatever. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put the order in. Put the stop in over the next bar's high or whatever your entry order is. Okay. That 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're having trouble doing things, can really just reset your brain to do what you need to do. You can't get up in the morning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet are going to hit the floor. Here we go. Okay, that will reset your brain and will start to actually reprogram your brain and start to set new neural pathways that are productive, replacing the ones that aren't actually productive. So that little countdown is a great way to get started on things when you're having trouble getting started, because your brain doesn't want to change. It just wants to stay where it is and do what it's doing. Okay, so the countdown can help as a reset. Okay, I'm going to go through some of my own success plan beliefs here. All right, now these are ones that I've written for myself many years ago now. I had some help doing them. My problem was, and I'm sure that you've seen it in your own trading at times, is that you know, sometimes my losses got a little bigger than I would have liked, and I didn't pull the plug soon enough. Okay? Now trading options, it's not as much of an issue because you know, trading futures, your losses are unlimited, but trading options, as long as you don't have too big of a position to start with, then you know, you're not going to wipe your account out or anything like that. But so one of my success beliefs is to not try to avoid something that's unavoidable. So what's unavoidable? You're going to be wrong. You're going to have losses. There's no sense in trying to even avoid that. This is really old. I don't really think like this anymore, but I'm giving you real examples to let you know that all of this stuff I've been through. It's not, I didn't come out of the womb knowing how to trade, okay? Okay, to the degree to why, and you can replace your own problems with this, okay? These are gonna be very applicable to whatever you're thinking in your trading or in your life. So the degree to which I do not understand and embracing that losses are unavoidable, that I'm gonna be wrong, is the same degree to which I will self-sabotage my account, okay? Lots of evidence to support that statement right there, okay? But still, I sometimes would do it, okay? Oh, did I go back here? Okay, here we go, yes. The risk in trading does not cause me to lose focus, stop following my rules, or lose confidence. Nope. You know what? You can't be thinking about the money in trading or anything like that. If you're sized properly, you just go ahead and do what you do, and you'll worry more about the execution than the results. The results will take care of themselves if you're doing the right things. It's sort of like sports. You know, that's the new thing in sports now. You don't think about the result. You think about, you know, positive execution. That's what you think about. You see your shot. You think about positive execution, and you don't think what the score is or anything like that. Okay, accepting risk allows me to not interpret market information in painful ways, and I'm therefore more open and intuitive about the flow of the market. So I don't see a loss as painful anymore. A loss is just what it is. It's a loss. Okay? If I interpret it as pain, then what am I going to do? I'm going to freeze, or I'm not going to pull the plug. If I'm interpreting it as painful information. Okay, so I try not to do that, and that was one of the things I had to overcome. And when I did overcome it, through the techniques that I've said today, listen, if I started freezing because I think, oh man, I don't want to really take this loss, then I'd go, oh, you know what? That's not a successful thought. That's an intrusive thought. That's a thought that doesn't serve my account. What does serve my account? Oh, okay, making sure that your stop is here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Let's turn that position over. Okay. Success beliefs. This is really a life one too. You're solely responsible for your own life. Okay. Not taking responsibility sets up tons of obstacles in your life, and in particularly in trading. And for me, thinking that the market was my enemy or I'm trading against it instead of something that's more of a cooperative game where it's giving me information constantly. Thank you, Mr. Market. You're giving me information constantly. Let me feel the flow. Now, feeling the flow is something that is subjective. I think I can do it sometimes. You don't always feel the flow. Sometimes I feel the flow and I'm wrong. Okay, so I'm not saying that it's this is the nirvana of trading, but you can certainly feel the flow of the market when your mind is not focused on things that are that the market doesn't care about. Okay, the market doesn't care about where you got in, what your loss is, whether you have too many contracts, doesn't matter. Market doesn't care about that. So if you can be open to the market, it will continuously feed you with information. Okay, now here's the other one that I ran into. The belief that more analysis is needed. My trading has gotten more simple. I do have some algorithmic systems that I run, and I kind of look at them to see what they're saying. But in terms of my analysis for entries, it's come down to one or two things that I can go through 100 odd stock charts in not very long, 10 minutes, 20 minutes maybe, and see if I have any setups that I want to act on for the next day or during the day as it may be. Okay, so my state of mind, this is a summary of what we've talked about so far. My state of mind is not affected by the market's behavior. Okay, I don't focus on the money. I focus on trying to just follow the strategy that I've got in place and making sure I haven't overexposed myself in any one trade, so that even if I do make some errors, maybe if I do overstay a trade too long, it's not going to kill me. Again, market making money is the byproduct of the mental skills necessary to trade my strategy. Okay, that's it. It's like Every pass you throw in football is not going to be complete, but that's the way it is. If you've got a good arm and you've got good receivers, you just keep doing what you do, and good things are going to happen. And knowing and understanding that is the degree to which I will be successful. And again, you can change these into life things. You can switch all this around here into things for your life, even with the relationships. I'm not here to be a relationship counselor, but it doesn't take a whole lot of imagination to switch some of these things around into things that you're doing in a relationship that are not serving you or the relationship, and you can change them. Okay, so what's our steps again? And I know this is repetitive, but repetitive is how we learn. Conscious awareness, again, conscious awareness being that you're consciously aware of what your subconscious is doing, because your subconscious is your beliefs, your habits, your reactions, is 90 to 95% of what we do in a day. Okay, so we want to activate our conscious mind to be the observer. So just like it's easy for us to watch somebody else and go, whoa, that can only end one way, that's not going to be good. We have to learn how to do that with ourselves, and we can. Our conscious mind is quite willing and able to do that. Okay, so we are the observer of ourselves. The other interesting thing, and it's a little bit of a sidetrack here, the subconscious mind only knows what it's experienced. It only knows what you yourself has experienced. It's very limited. It's got blinders on. The conscious mind can look and say, oh, well, I can see the worldly experience and I can integrate different information from different places to arrive at logical conclusions. But your subconscious mind, which is running 90 to 95% of everything you do, only knows what's happened to you, only makes its decisions based on what's happened to you. Another reason why it's so important to engage your conscious mind, to watch what you're doing, okay? Observe yourself and what you're doing. So once you accept that whole premise, and guys, this is not my opinion, it's not pop psychology, this is now neuroscience where they put the things on your head and everything changes color, and wow, they know now where everything's happening, why it's happening, who's doing which part's doing what, okay? So that's how your brain actually works. That's the science of it. And accepting that is 50% of the way of the journey, at least in my experience. Once you get to the fact that you can go, oh, I'm not my thoughts, I'm the observer of my thoughts, and that's a great life skill to have all across the board, not only in trading. Then you're 50% of the way there. Okay, and remembering that now, if you can accept that and you're in conflict, that mental environment is, in how much conflict there is the degree to which you're inhibiting your own success. Okay, so that conscious mind really has to be engaged. Okay, it really has to be engaged as the observer. Now, patience is probably still my biggest obstacle. I'm a dip buyer, right? So when I see things starting to set up, I get itchy to buy the dip. All right, and sometimes I'm a little early. Sometimes I can be a day or two early, and then of course if you try to wait a day or two, the next time it doesn't work. So, but I do try. That's my edge, is to try to wait patiently, and I go through this process myself. Is the setup really there yet? Am I observing you? Just needing to have a position. Is this really setting up, or would it be better if you waited to see if that happened? Okay, so I observe myself do that if I got my finger on the mouse. Okay. Okay, so neuroplasticity is basically what we've talked about. Neuroplasticity is just the cool word for how the brain changes, but it's quite easy to change it, honestly. Again, it's just that three-step process: conscious awareness of the pattern behavior, interruption of the pattern behavior, and labeling it. Okay, so awareness of it, interrupt it and label the pattern as a hindrance, as detrimental, as intrusive thoughts, thoughts that aren't serving you. Okay, so observe, interrupt, and then you introduce the new success pattern that you know, away from the stress of the market or away from the stress of whatever life situation you are in, that you know works. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, we're going to introduce the new pattern of success. The more you do that, the less you'll have to be consciously aware of doing it, because you will start to replace the old pattern with the new one, and the new one will now become your subconscious reaction, belief, so a habit, so forth like that. Okay. Again, I just went through this. Awareness, interruption, repetition. That's it. That's it. Consciously aware of what you're doing during the day, and sometimes that you have to ask yourself, okay, what am I doing here? Because your mind will it wants to go into subconscious mode constantly. It's like when we've all done it. You get into the car and you start driving to work, or you start driving to your office, even though it's Saturday and you're not going to your office. We've all done it, because your conscious mind wants to just take over and engage. So we have to constantly, that conscious mind has to, sort of, maybe make a note and put it on your screen or something. Conscious awareness. Boom. Am I observing? Oh, okay. What am I doing here? And I know sometimes I do it too. I still drift off into a pattern of just lazy river, and just sort of coast along, and I'm really not observing what I'm doing, and it seems all fine to me, when really I should have been more vigilant observing my thoughts, and that I need to be more vigilant, say, going through these charts every hour to see what's going on. So I still do it. No one's perfect. You see it all the time in sports. Guys have bad days, guys have good days. It's just you can't ever completely eliminate it. But the more aware of it you are, the easier it is to reprogram, interrupt, and start putting the new programs in. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Off you go. Okay, I think that's basically it. Again, I'll say it one more time. What we need to understand to begin is that we are not our thoughts. We are the observer of our thoughts. We are not our thoughts. We're the observer of our thoughts. That's a huge thing to learn in your life. What's our process for interruption, for observing an interruption? When we see it, what are we going to do? We're going to label it. We're going to label it, whether it's your life or your trading, we're going to label that as harmful, unproductive, not going to my success goals, and I'm going to stop that. Okay, so labeling it is also important once we observe it. And then what we do is we already know what our success plan is that we wanted to substitute for the thing that's our subconscious wants to do. So we go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we start we start with the new plan. Now, there are even little simple things that you can do, like if you've written some of the things out and you want to read them during the day, read them with your finger going across the words and feel the energy or the words sinking into your brain. Okay, I know even though I used to study for exams in university, I used to write stuff and I would really focus on what I was writing to try to get it into my brain, and it worked. And I didn't know at the time that I was really practicing something that was in perfect harmony with how our brains actually work. But even just running your finger across it while you're reading it and really trying to absorb it, maybe even feeling the energy of those words go up your arm and into your brain, that all helps. And it may sound pop psychology, but neuroscientists will tell you that that's where I learned it, that it works. Okay, so if you guys have any questions about anything it's in your trading or anything I said today or something I didn't make clear or something I skipped over too fast, please feel free. I'll be happy to address anything that you want to know.
All right, fantastic. Great stuff, Joe. I've heard several presentations on this topic from other presenters, but yours is absolutely the most succinct and usable process. And guys, if you would post in the question box there, what are some of the things that come up during the trading day for you, those negative behaviors that you're struggling with? Go ahead and post them there. Give me an example. For me, and I was telling Joe this just the other day, was in a trade, and I have my target out there, and there's no reason why the market shouldn't reasonably get to that target. I'm not seeing anything that would suggest otherwise, but I will take that profit off shorter than the target, and that's just something I've had to deal with. But hearing this, and I love the analogy about the child in the nursery school, you can't let that one child, rule the entire class. And when you have that negative thought, right? When you have that negative thought, you've got to disrupt that and get back to, your trading plan, if you will. So guys, anybody have anything that, they want to mention, something you're struggling with? And as I do that, let me get, I'll switch back over here. And let's see. And then just let me know. Let me make sure that you can see my screen again now. Can you guys see my slide now? Okay, great. All right, thanks, guys. So everybody is here for a reason, right? You came today because you're looking for something. Maybe you're a new trader and you're struggling, you're not profitable, and you need help. Ask yourself, can I use, something like this help in my own trading? Partnering with Joe Duffy, allowing a professional, to see a professional how they trade their trades when they come through, what they're doing, why they're doing that. All the educational material we'll talk about that comes with these programs that you get. Would this be helpful to you? Maybe you've been trading for a long time and you've never been profitable. Partnering with somebody like Joe where you can learn, see what indicators he's using, see how he sets up his charts, see how he analyzes the market, see what trades, what options he picks and why he picks those. Would that be helpful? Is this something that would help you achieve your goals? Like I said, maybe, we have a lot of clients that are, professionals and maybe, doctors, lawyers, and so on that don't have time to do the trading for themselves. If you own a business, if you are working during the day and you still want to participate, but, you're not able to sit in front of the computer all day, is this something that would, benefit you? All right, somebody's just posting a question here. Let me pick up the questions. So Bruce talks about, he would say scaling out, but not in, usually go all in and start scaling out contracts at certain percentage points wins. I don't do it on the way down, and it's something I just really realized. So, all right, so hopefully, yeah, that maybe it's something that has brought something to light for you, right? That you can now be aware of. Like Joe said, that's half the battle, is just being aware of something that's going on in your trading that may be negatively impacting it and so on. So again, do you have the time? Maybe you don't have the time to do this, and aligning yourself and partnering with someone like Joe Duffy, who is doing this full time. He's seeing the markets, everything that's going on. Maybe that is something that would be of a benefit to you. Maybe you're 10 years out from retirement, all right? And, you've got $30,000 saved for retirement. as you know, most Americans have heading into their 50s. What are you going to do? 10% in a mutual fund over the next 10 years is not going to cut it. You're not going to have a retirement. We have clients, in fact, I have clients that I've seen go from a $40,000 deposit to over $300,000 in 18 months. I have another client that started with me in October with about $140,000. That's over $450,000 in 12 months. Would that change your life? Would that now give you a shot at retirement? Right? You won't know. All right. So let me just kind of go through and so you can see what we call our learn and earn programs. So we don't just send you the signals, right? You get all the educational material that comes with these programs so that if you want to learn Joe's strategy or one of our trader strategies, you can learn it. All right. So these are some of the things that you're going to receive. Of course, the direct access to Joe Duffy for any educated trading questions regarding the markets, the methodology, a particular trade setup, right? You can talk to Joe directly. All the educational material that comes with the strategy, describing how he enters, like I said, how does he set up his charts, what indicators does he use, what's settings on those indicators, how he trades options on ETFs and stocks. Obviously, you get the trade alerts. So when Joe takes a trade in his account, you get alerted through email or text, and you can place that same trade in your own account, through any broker you wish. Joe does give a daily market and position recap, so you always know what's going on. Any trades that were open that day, any trades that were closed, and whatever positions you're currently holding, you get a snapshot. Each evening, Joe sends out a daily video commentary. So it's about a 4 or 5 minute video each evening that will come to your inbox. Joe goes over what he's seeing in the markets. Any trades that you're in, he'll go over those. Any trades that maybe he's looking to get into, he's kind of stalking, you'll get a heads up there. And these are very, very good because back in February of last year, 2020, Joe gave his clients a heads up that he believed that the market was going to crash. And so he got his clients positioned to take advantage of that. And they ended up making in March and April, Joe returned clients 100% in 2 months, right? When the S&P 500 was losing 30%. So again, it doesn't matter if the market's going up or down sideways, Joe has strategies that can take advantage of those. So those videos are very, very good. And then you also get access to third-party registered brokers, right? This is an option if you don't have time to take the trades yourself and you'd rather have the broker assisted trading where the broker can execute the trades on your behalf. That is available to you, okay? As long as you're in the US or you're able to open an account here in the US. And you do get access to us here at FFR Trading and our team. So we are strategists. We help clients build a portfolio of these strategies and traders that is diversified, right? So you're not all just in Joe Duffy. You can be spread out into different traders, different markets, right? So that's what we do here at FFR Trading for you. All right, let's see. Bruce says he just started trading with Joe last week or two, and just trying to build trust with Joe so he can scale his positions as the program suggests. All right, great. Well, you're in the hands of a winner, Bruce. Absolutely. Joe's been doing this for many, many years, so you're in good hands, and we're happy to have you. All right, so what does the service come with? So whether it's target zone options or as key point options, you have a unique opportunity here to partner with us, and that allows you to get discounts. When you give us a call, we can tell you about that. But we do the lease for the services on a 1-year block. We have a 100% guarantee. What that means is if the system doesn't return you 100% in that first 12 months, the second year will be completely free. Right? That's how confident we are in our traders and their strategies. Again, we have a exclusive participation program. So if you can do some things for us, so a lot of our clients provide us their monthly brokerage statements. right? That helps us to keep track of their progress, make sure that they're meeting their goals, answer any questions that they have, right? But it also allows you, when you call us and you want to see Joe Duffy's program, we have actual brokerage statements that we can show you, okay? For the first 10 students that call us and sign up, they're going to receive a personal one-on-one consultation with Joe. And you don't have to do that right away. You can take time, start experiencing the service, build a list of questions, and then take time and do your one-on-one with Joe. And finally, this bonus, which is huge, right? I know a lot of you are in trading rooms and all that kind of stuff. Well, Joe has a daily Skype group. So you can join his Skype group. This comes whether you're with Keypoint or with if you're with Target Zone Options, you get access to Joe's Skype group. Joe trades, he's trading during the day. He's giving out additional trades during the day. These are short-term trades, maybe 1 to 4 days, right? They're doing great, by the way, in that Skype group. That's normally a $2,400 a year value. He is giving that away free, right? Whether you purchase Keypoint or you start with Target Zone or both, right? You get access to Joe's daily Skype group. So what you need to do is just give us a call. What we need to do is we need to make sure this is a good fit for you, because it might not be. But we need to talk and just see, is this a good fit for you? In the US, you can call this number. It's 800-883-0524. If you're outside the US, you can call this number here, the 832-404-2420. We just need to speak with you. Again, make sure this is a good fit for you. We have, Joe is one of our great traders, but we've got, 4 or 5 different traders trading 20 different strategies in all the different markets. So whether you like commodities or index futures or options on stocks, ETFs, Forex, whatever the case might be, we have traders trading all those different markets. All right, so just give us a call and see if we can help you. You have nothing to lose and you have everything to gain. So if you're not seeing the kind of results we talked about, with Joe's achieving, 200% a year, okay, maybe you should think about at least see what these programs can offer you. All right, Lance says he signed up with FFR today. Fantastic, and congratulations, Lance. Welcome on board. And you are in good hands, and we look forward to working with you. So guys, just give us a call, just like Lance did. Lance already got started. That's fantastic. These are programs, like I said, I have clients that this literally has changed their lives. I had a gentleman that was downsized during COVID and, really didn't have much for retirement. And, he's sitting on close to $500,000. And, he's only been with us for a very short period of time. So this could be the thing that changes, not only changes your trading, but changes your financial life. So go ahead and give us a call, 800-883-0524. Talk to one of our strategists. And these numbers are good if you call right after the webinar here. All right, there'll be strategists available to speak with you. Just take 10 minutes, just go through some questions, just see if it's something that is a good fit for you. Maybe it's not Joe Duffy's program, maybe it's something else, but we won't know until we talk to you, and you won't know unless you call. Right, outside the US, again, 832-404-2420. All right, do you guys have any questions for me or for Joe Duffy while Joe is still hanging out here? Go ahead and post them, and we'll get ready to wrap up. Think about it, guys. A year from now, right, we're all going to be a year older. The question is, are you just going to be a year older? Are you going to be a year older with some type of financial education or, an ability to earn an income, hands-free, basically, if you're not able to do this yourself? And let's face it, most people, when it comes to short-term trading, fail. I started as a broker with Schwab many years ago, and I can tell you the majority of people who attempt to do what Joe does fail. Right? Not only do they fail, but they end up losing, a lot of money that if they just, put the time in to explore some of the programs that like we offer, could change your life. William asked about the cost. Just give us a call, William. Depending if you can provide us certain things, we can cut the cost, pretty drastically for you. Give us a call. Just talk to one of our strategists. Again, we don't know if it's even a good fit for you. We just need to make sure what kind of capital you're looking at and all that good stuff. All right, guys. So one last time: 800-883-0524 if you're in the U.S. and 832-404-2420. Talk to one of our strategists. Again, you owe it to yourself. Just see if this is something that might change your life. I know this: if you don't do anything, nothing changes, right? Nothing in your financial world is going to change unless you take that step. And I'm just asking you, go ahead and take that step. Just see if this is for you. You won't know unless you call. All right, guys. Any last questions for me or for Joe? I'll get ready to wrap it up here. We will provide the recording of the video. Once that's been processed, we'll send that out to everybody. So we thank you for attending, and you guys all have a great evening.